Hi, I'm Lisa from PosterMyWall. Welcome to How to Apply Your Email Metrics to Optimize Campaign Performance with Lindsey Breitweiser. Lindsey has created a custom training that will show you how to make email metrics work for you. You're going to leave knowing exactly what to do, say if you notice your unsubscribe rate is rising or maybe you're not getting any clicks. If you don't know Lindsey, she is the operating CMO of the CMO Lab, a company that teaches you how to use your marketing for growth. Her courses, consulting, and team training teach you to think big picture, create a strong marketing plan, and to move beyond awareness to start generating results. At the end of the presentation, we'll have a link so that you can download your own copy of Lindsey's presentation. We also have a promo code so you can try out PosterMyWall's email marketing platform. This is the only online marketing platform where you can design beautiful graphics and videos, plus create, send, and measure professional quality email marketing campaigns. Let's get started. Welcome, Lindsey.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lindsey Breitweiser, and today I'm going to show you which metrics are the most helpful to look at when it comes to your email marketing campaigns and how you can use that data to make informed decisions and ultimately make your marketing better. Today, we're going to be focusing on understanding your email metrics. So to start, what are they? Now, I find that it's super helpful to outline what metrics are because they aren't anything to be afraid of. Business owners can sometimes break into a panic thinking about tracking, data, analytics, anything that comes to mind when they hear the term. But I'm here to tell you that you're likely already using metrics every single day. Metrics are simply things that can be measured over time. It's just a data point. You can go back and refer to it and see how things have changed. The most important part, though, is that using the metrics can help you extrapolate why those changes have occurred. Here's a really great example. Pounds are a metric, like our weight. We can keep track of our weight in pounds over time and see if it goes up or down. When you notice that your weight does go up or down, you begin to think of the reasons why those results may have occurred. You could say, I started exercising, or if your pounds went up, you could say it's likely because of X or Y. It's the same thing with your email metrics. Now, let's get into email metrics that you really need to know. There are a number of things that you can look at to see if there's a change over time, but let's start with these. Your open rate. This is the percentage of people that have received your email and opened it to read it. Your unsubscribe rate. This is the percentage of people that have opted out of receiving your communications. Your click-through rate. Out of all the recipients of your email, this is the percentage of people that took a click-based action. And lastly, this one you might want to keep track of just on your own or with a pen and paper, but time of day and the day of week that you send your emails. So for example, do you send your emails every Monday or Wednesday? And on those days, are you sending them in the morning? Are you sending them after work? Those are all really important data points and metrics that you can track over time. Now that you know what you can measure, let's talk about the standard benchmarks that you can use to evaluate your performance. A great open rate will hover around 20 to 30%. That's really good to keep in mind when you evaluate your own open rate. Put it this way. If you send out an email and 70% of the recipients don't even read it, you're still performing really well. Your unsubscribe rate. Your unsubscribe rate should remain under 1%, ideally under 0.05%. Your click-through rate. The standard click-through rate is going to be roughly between 2 and 5%, but it really depends on your industry. 2 to 5% is still a pretty good benchmark, though. And lastly, your time of day and day of week is variable by industry as well. We see with retailers and shopping that they have great open rates after work hours and on the weekends. People who are sending emails to maybe a more business-oriented target, though, they might see something totally different. Their open rates might be better during the work week or during typical work hours. So it really just depends on your industry. When it comes to thinking about these benchmarks, I want you to keep two very important things in mind. Number one, you need time to determine them for your own company. You don't want to panic or look at numbers every single time you send an email. The percentages can be really volatile if you look at a very small sample size, making those percentages look wacky. So you want to give yourself time when you're looking at your data and creating your own benchmarks. I would suggest only after a quarter, 3 months or more to really start looking to see trends and get a good idea of your overall performance. Number two, expect some variation. So as your email list grows, maintaining percentages becomes more difficult. For example, if you have an email list with 100 people, a 30% open rate is only 30 people opening it. Now, as your email list grows, say you have 300 people now, you're going to have 90 people opening your emails to maintain that same percentage. So expect some variation. That's why there are ranges here for these benchmarks. Things can be a little bit flexible. Now that you know what to look at and you have some good benchmarks to base your info on, what can you actually change with all this info? Let's walk through the specific optimizations or improvements that you can test to increase your email performance. Say you notice that your unsubscribes are beginning to climb. 3 things you can do when you notice this happening are evaluate how many emails you're sending per week. You might just be sending way too many, and people will start to get annoyed with how frequently you're showing up in their inbox. Number 2, determine if the message is meaningful to your audience or only a particular segment of your audience. Determine if the messages you're sending can be more specific. So, for example, you might have different lists or different groups of people that you communicate with. Make sure you're providing them with specific info for what they're interested in. Lastly, make sure you're providing value. Now, we as business owners, we want sales. Heck, we need sales. But when people get emails or barrages of email messages saying, buy this or buy that, they can get annoyed. So try to add more value. Next, what do you do if you notice that your open rates are beginning to decline? First, start to experiment with the time of day or day of week that you're sending your information. Even though this is variable, you can test it out a couple of different ways until you find your ideal sweet spot. Number 2, experiment with shorter, more attention-grabbing email subject lines. If people aren't opening your email, you don't want to spend a lot of time just yet focusing on the content in there. They're not even getting that far. You're going to want to play around with more attention-grabbing subject lines. Keep them short and pique their curiosity. Number 3, write different communications for the segments. Now, this is really just like what we talked about with unsubscribes, but if you have different messages that would be more meaningful to different groups of people, then create different emails for them. They'll appreciate it and hopefully open your email because the information is relevant to what they're interested in. And that brings us to the last set of optimizations. If you notice that you're not getting any clicks on your emails, try these changes to increase the performance. Number 1, you could be more clear with your desired end result. A lot of times our brains will fill in the gaps as we create our marketing materials. So we think we put a button in there and people just know what to do. But that's not the case. It might be clear to us, but it's not always clear to them. So be extremely clear in your email copy with the desired end result. You can do this by adding copy around your button, like click here to schedule a call. Or if you include a link, here is the link that will take you to my website. You can get really specific about the desired action you want your readers to take. Number 2, move your call to action up in your email copy. When it comes to digital and email marketing, you have a matter of seconds to grab someone's attention and drive them to act. So move what you want them to do right up into the beginning of your email. Put your buttons above the fold and any links or actions you want your reader to take, move it up as early as possible. And lastly, use a design to make your link or button stand out and catch the eye. This can be done with bright colors, bold text, anything that breaks up the visuals in your email to make the eye go exactly where you need it to. Now, these can all help generate more clicks. I've shared a few ways or a few things that you could use when you're seeing your data points change and understand what's happening to improve your performance. But let's look at two real case studies to see this info in practice. The first one, this client was doing a Black Friday email blast campaign. Now, on average, they sent about 2 to 3 emails per week, and they knew that their unsubscribe rate was roughly 0.3%. That worked out to between 8 and 9 people that unsubscribed per message. That was their benchmark. Now, when they had a really big Black Friday sale coming up, they increased the number of emails that they were sending for a really short period of time by 300%. They went from 2 to 3 emails per week to sending out 13 in just 7 days. The unsubscribe rate jumped to 0.6% during that week. Every time they shot out an email, they were seeing about 18 people unsubscribe, and not great. Pretty big jump from that 8 to 9 that they normally saw. So what did they do? The large increase in unsubscribes signaled to us that the problem was either the messaging or the frequency. In this case, what we changed was the frequency. We changed it pretty dramatically too, and the brand had begun to annoy its subscribers. You'll see here that the annoying of the subscribers is what the brand is able to extrapolate by looking at the change in the data point. Not unlike the pounds example that we talked about earlier in the deck. The metrics simply tell us that there was a change, and now we get to look back and figure out why it happened. So the unsubscribe data points, they told us that something had happened, and now we got to look back and say, oh, well, of course, we tripled the amount of emails that we were sending. That's got to be the cause. Armed with this info, the brand immediately backed down to its original email cadence and saw that the unsubscribe rate returned to its standard 0.3%. Now, the learning and the optimization that they carried forward, and what you would carry forward in this instance, is reduce the cadence of emails for future sales. Don't go back up to 13. We've hit that threshold, and it really was the threshold where we annoyed our readers. Next time when they have a sale, they'll use this experience and this data to start at a lower frequency, probably working in 6 to 7 emails per week, rather than jumping straight to the 13. Another case study had to do with changing the email subject lines to help increase the brand's email open rate. This brand had an open rate of about 20%, which really isn't bad, but they felt that there was room for improvement. So often one of the first things that you can do, and one of the first things that we did, was test the subject line copy, trying to increase the odds that the emails would stand out in a crowded inbox. I'm going to walk you through exact subject lines that we changed and how we changed them, but this technique was successful in increasing their open rate by an additional 15%. In the first example, the use of stylized text helped draw the eye to the copy in that crowded inbox. We also made sure when writing the subject lines that we were putting the most important information out there right away. There was little room for curiosity in this instance. In the second example, we purposely left out key information to make readers feel as though they had to open the email to get the rest of the details. Using powerful marketing phrases like, "you won't believe," or "did you know," naturally make readers feel as though they need to finish the thought and open the email to learn more. These are just 2 ways that you can play with subject lines to help pique curiosity or help your copy stand out in what we know is a super competitive space, the crowded inbox. So in summary, keep your eye on your metrics over time, extrapolate metric variations, why those changes may have occurred, test optimizations, and keep going. You'll constantly be looking to improve your email, so think of this as a long game. Thank you for joining me today and for your time. I hope you feel more prepared to tackle your email metrics. Let's keep the education going. Use this QR code to sign up for emails from the CMO Lab, and you'll get more free marketing tips and info on upcoming workshops. Thanks again.
Thank you, Lindsey. I really appreciate your advice to look at trends rather than at single email. If you'd like to download Lindsey's presentation, there's a link to that in the class description as well. Today's training is part of PosterMyWall's email marketing education library. We've got other trainings and videos and tips and blog posts. So if you would like to browse the whole library, we've got a link for that in the class description too. We also invite you to try out PosterMyWall's email marketing platform. We have hundreds of templates that'll make it super fast and easy for you to create really beautiful professional email marketing campaigns. And of course, we have a super easy to use email metrics module. You can use promo code EmailPower30 for 30% off on a subscription to PosterMyWall Premium or Premium Plus. This is good for new subscriptions and for upgrades. And remember, only our subscribers unlock the full power of our email marketing tools. Please share this video with your friends and colleagues who use email marketing to grow their businesses. If you'd like more tips and tutorials and trainings from PosterMyWall, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching.